Hello, and welcome to my video on sampling technology, the Google Maps API with the LAMP stack. I apologize in advance if it feels like I'm rushing through this, but I've been having a hard time trying to get everything in under 5 minutes. So to get started, we're going to take a look right away at our website, and we've got the code up here on the left side. So first thing that happens when you go to the website, you'll refresh, then it'll say, welcome to IPGrab. This will grab information based off of your IP address and display it to you below, and then it outputs to the user what their IP address is, and then some corresponding values based off of their IP address. And then this line here is just confirmation for me to let me know that the data has actually been entered into the database. If an error occurred, it would let me know that the data was not properly added. A little bit further down here on the website, we can see a Google Maps image. It's a static map image of the city that we are located in, Arlington. So nice little view right there. So looking on over at the code, we can see just some basic HTML at the top just to make it look a little bit more friendlier. First block of code of PHP that we see is just making the connection to our MySQL database. And then right here, this line of code, more particularly this section right here, server remote address, is how you would normally get the IP address of a user, but because I'm testing on my own local machine, I was having issues with that, getting a proper address other than the local host, so I just hard-coded my own address into here for this demonstration. So first thing that's happening is we're just outputting the IP address to the user, and then the interesting part where we're actually making calls to an API is this block of code here is all making calls to the IP-API website. And each line is assigning into a variable a certain field based off of the IP address of the user visiting the site. So that's what all of this block of code is doing for all of the values we need to get for this assignment. And then scrolling down a little bit, everything that we see here in this block of code is what's actually printing out the information. I had to do a little bit of string manipulation to get everything nice and pretty and outputting it in a user-friendly way. So scrolling down here, we can see this is the SQL statement that I actually used for inserting the data into the database. So $SQL just equals insert into IP data, and then all these fields here are just the value or the columns that we are going to be inserting to, and then values, we are inserting all of the variables that we declared right here that's pulling from the API. So, and then this block of code here is just running the SQL statement, and if it runs successfully, it outputs that into a message to our web page, and then if it doesn't do it successfully, it will say error, the data was not added. So, and then we close the connection to the database because we're done with that. So a little bit down here, I actually had issues getting the Google Maps image up and running properly by passing just variables into it from PHP. Messed around with it and couldn't really figure out why. I tried different solutions and nothing really worked. So for the sake of just demonstrating the Google Maps API, I've actually just hard-coded it in here, hard-coded our location, Arlington, Virginia, but right here this URL statement is in theory what I believe it would look like, replacing Arlington, Virginia with our variable combined, which contains the city and state from the user. So that covers all of the code for the project. Now we're going to take a look over at the database. So as you can see, I've run it several times now. 1 minute ago. I've run it several times now. If we go over to the second page, scroll down to the very bottom, we can see recent entries. So if I refresh this, it'll let me know that information has been added to the database. And then going to the database, if I refresh this, go all the way to page 3, we can see that yes, it has been added into our database. And then this just shows all of the different values and everything. So the largest issue that I encountered on this project was the Google Maps API. I had a hard time finding documentation on how to actually pass PHP into it.